Okay, everybody. In true SOBs who love SOB tradition, I am here with JR Bookwalter, who is the creator of the not shot on video Dead Next Door.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people actually think it's shot on video, but
so
it's not.
It is not shot on video, and we know this for sure because the very first movie that we did, we interviewed Michael Rasto about the basement.
Oh yes,
And
another Super 8,
right, and that was
epic.
the first thing that he told us. He's like, well, you know that it's not shot on video. And we're like, we don't care, but we also found out that, well, you were in it.
I was.
Yes, you were involved in it, and that he used your Super 8 camera.
The very same one that we had problems with on the Dead Next Door. Yeah.
Yes, but he had bigger problems because he got a little bigger first bridges. He didn't use the auto. Function.
That's right. That's right.
He owns up to it.
Right.
So we're here at Cinema Wasteland. JR is here promoting he's got some books, he's got some movies. Very lengthy career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like it, right? Well, when you start at 19, it's now
Right.
I'm 53, so yes, I would say that's a lengthy career.
Okay,
yes.
so you started at 19. This
Yes.
seems to be the recurring theme. I was a teenager. I grabbed mom and dad's camera, and I just had a bug for it. And I did.
Well, yeah, that I started when I was actually 11. So yes, Super 8 camera, the taking your sister and your neighborhood friends in the backyard, spilling ketchup all over them, and
Right.
making homemade zombie movies.
Speaking of, I'm going to have to pick this up. Okay, so shocking shorts. So this says that previous to the Dead Next Door, he's got some different shorts that he cut his teeth on. And the included ones are things like the burning of the Salem witches. I'm sure that is like riveting.
That's a classic.
The Muppet Movie 2.
Yeah, that don't ask me what I was thinking on that one.
I'm not sure about this one. Everything you wanted to know about printing. Okay, so these are some of his. So these are some of your early
That's
endeavors.
the majority of the stuff that I did prior to making the Dead Next Door. Yeah.
So what made you start doing all this stuff?
Well, my mother bought Super 8 film had just come into vogue right around the time that I was born in 1966. My mother invested in a Super 8 camera to document my sister and I growing up, and it used to be a big thing where we would set up the projector, set up the screen, and watch these movies of our birthday parties or vacations or whatever.
And I'm assuming silent.
Back then they were silent. Yeah. So we kind of made our own soundtracks, and I had a lot of like 50-foot like Mighty Mouse and all these kind of things that we would play before it. We kind of made our own movie night. We got this idea let's take our little Star Wars figures and do stop motion animation. So we spent an entire day to come up with like 2 minutes of footage and a story that makes absolutely no sense. But that was what you did because we wanted to make a sequel to Star Wars. We thought we were trailblazers. So it was not The Empire Strikes Back, needless to say.
And I'm assuming the Muppet Movie 2 is not the Muppet Movie 2 either.
Well, I mean, in our minds it was, but no, it certainly wasn't. So yeah, we started with stop motion animation, and then it eventually became more ambitious, where we were doing things with kids around the neighborhood, actually acting, quote, air quotes, and just grew from there.
Okay, so The Dead Next Door is one of those landmark movies that there are a lot of people who know that title. Maybe they've seen it, maybe they haven't, but definitely it's one of those, like I said with Tim Ritter, I got a name drop because that's the only reason he's talking to me. I got legitimacy now.
Tim and I are buddies. So
so, like I say with like Truth or Dare, I mean, that's one of those movies, you may not have seen it or not, but if you grew up in a certain era, you saw that at the video store, and The Dead Next Door is another one of those. So how did you, in that time period, because it didn't get actually released until, like, the dates are all varying.
It was actually released in 1990.
Okay, I was going to say, because I've seen 88, I've seen 89, and I've seen 90.
It was finished in early 1989, didn't come out till over a year later.
Right. And this was after the home video boom was gone. I mean,
well, it was waning, seriously waning.
Right, I mean, the mid-80s were obviously, like, the time to go, but you managed to have success like at the very tail end of that. So what do you attribute that to, and how did you distribute to get that success?
Well, I can't take all the credit. There was a little distributor out of North Carolina named Electro Video that was the first people to put out Dead Next Door. His name is Tony Elwood. He was actually a filmmaker himself and had made a Super 8 film called Killer, and he had a little bit of success selling it to video stores and that kind of thing. So we licensed the film to him, and he kind of got it out there, the initial push. to get it known and to make this sort of iconic artwork of the zombie.
Right.
A lot of people seem to know the movie from that artwork. So, yeah, so that kind of got it started. And then when he had sort of run the course of what he could do with it, then I sort of took it back over and carried the torch, the rest of the time with it to the present.
So after that, you did some of your own stuff, but you worked on a lot of other people's movies for several years, didn't you?
Yeah, I probably at this point have worked on way more of other people's movies than I have on my own.
So why do you think that is? Was that like a conscious decision, or were you trying to just get into different roles? Which it seems like that's exactly what you did. Is you did a little bit of everything for everybody.
I always loved doing post-production, and it was something that I thought I was good at, and it was something that other people would pay you for. So it sort of became like a side job. Like if people needed editing work or sound work or whatever, that I was sort of the go-to guy. I wound up eventually doing it for 5 years as the post-production supervisor for Full Moon.
So basically, your independent film's day job was actually working in independent film.
Yes. Well, yeah, and that and distribution as well. I became a distributor and sold other filmmakers' movies.
And that's what it was.
You have to diversify.
And when did you start doing the distribution of other people's movies?
I think it was, I was sort of disgruntled with the way some of my early movies were handled. So I think by 1991 I had started Tempe Video, and that was sort of like, I'll just do this myself. It sounds a lot easier than it actually is.
Well, it always is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you think you can do it better than somebody else,
chances are
you can't.
Right, you can't.
There's a reason why.
No, I did stick it out for a long time, and we did have some. I had some success and some failure.
So you're no longer distributing with.
Not in the traditional sense. I kind of shuttered Tempe last year and am sort of getting ready to embark on a new venture called MakeFlix, which is going to be more of like a hub for filmmakers to sell their movies through rather than a traditional, I'll license it and I'll sell it. It's not one of those kind of situations.
Right, kind of almost like you'll do the legwork.
Yeah, we'll make it available so other filmmakers can get their work out there without having to go through the nightmares.
Right, I was going to say, because at this point in time, it's either you do everything on your own, or you hand it over to a distributor. So that's kind of like a nice medium ground.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
That's it.
I have to steal that. I have no idea what I'm doing with that. It just sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
You've got a bunch of your stuff here. You did mention Full Moon. You worked for
I did
Full
for
Moon.
five grueling years at Full Moon. No, I'm joking.
Grueling?
It was not grueling.
That's one of those things that I'm like, that sounds like fun.
Grueling sounds like fun? Well,
no, working for Full Moon.
No. It had its ups and downs like everything. But Charlie Band was very good to me. I made a lot of films for him. Towards the latter end of that period, I did post-production work on many others prior to that. So it was. No, it was fun. We did all kinds of crazy stuff back then. So.
And they're still doing crazy stuff.
They are. Charlie, that's the one thing I'll say about Charlie. He just keeps on going. The man will not quit.
Love to puppet master Little Lister.
Yeah, see? There you go.
Okay, so most recently, if you've never seen this is fabulous. You still need this if you do own it. Robot Ninja. Remastered, Blu-ray. This is fabulous artwork. So you spent a lot of time, painstakingly remastering this 1989 classic. So what made you start to do that?
Well, the thing that I needed to do it was the original film elements, and those sort of resurfaced a couple years ago, which enabled me to do it at all.
Okay, how did they resurface? This always fascinates me.
They were locked up in a lab somewhere, and nobody knew where they were. The film, it was originally financed by David Dakota, who's also a filmmaker, ran Cinema Video, and that's who I made the film for originally. And he had lost track of it, and it wasn't just my film, it was some of his films, Nightmare Sisters, Murder Weapon, Deadly Embrace. All this stuff was kind of locked up in the same place, and he just so happened to find it. He contacted me and said, "Hey, I have your negative for Robot Ninja. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Yes, please." So
that is so cool.
Yeah, so that's how it happened, and then that enabled me to then do a 2K film scan and go in and completely clean it up. And I mean, it's really like a whole new movie. I spent a considerable amount of time cleaning up dirt and scratches and all that kind of stuff, and remixing the sound, completely rebuilding the sound.
And I will be buying this, and I will be sharing it with Slade, because I'm sure Slade has this, but he probably does not have this remastered version. So we will do this on our podcast, and we'll probably hit you up.
All right.
But
if you've only seen the VHS version, you must own this because it's
his blood, sweat, and tears.
It is literally blood, sweat. I spent probably more time restoring it than I spent making the movie in the first place, honestly.
And if you're interested, there is a documentary that he put on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
It's free to watch.
It's called Rebuilding the Robot. Yes.
Yes. So it is all about
extensive details. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
all
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
Cool.
Nice to
Thanks,
meet
guys.
you.